Ask you about your campaign. There have been some stories this week about its health, and you talked to the Associated Press. Speaking of your staff, you said everything is on the table. I'm looking carefully. What did you mean by that?
I mean, I want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to make sure that the American people absolutely recognize the choice that they have. And if there are some things that need to be changed or tweaked, we certainly are going to be open to doing those things.
Armstrong Williams, who's a close associate of yours, was quoted as saying, "Dr. Carson is back in charge, and I'm so happy to see that." What does that mean?
I think you're going to have to ask Armstrong.
So you were always in charge.
I prefer he speak for himself, and I'll speak for myself.
So any changes to your campaign that are coming?
There will be some alterations. You know, we've been looking in every particular area. One thing I want to do is have a much more robust response to attacks, particularly when they are false. And you know, we've kind of taken a nonchalant attitude toward that. I think that's the wrong thing to do. So you'll see much more aggressiveness in that region.
Since we're looking back at 2015, any attacks that you let go by that you'd like to correct here from the last year?
Oh, there are a lot of attacks. You know, the attacks that, you know, I really didn't have a temper. I guess that's kind of flattering. They said you couldn't possibly have been like that. And then when the articles were found with interviews from my mother and other people, nobody came back and said, oh, we found the evidence. You know, with the West Point story, you know, nobody indicated that, in fact, General Westmoreland was there in February for a Congressional Medal of Honor dinner, which is what I said. There was a question about the dates, but you know, no one comes back and corrects any of that. You know, virtually everything that was said, no one comes back and says none of that stuff is true. And I just think we have to probably be the ones who forcefully inject that into the narrative. But also, you know, the narrative that I don't know anything about foreign policy. If you go back and you look at the things that I've been saying about foreign policy over the last year, you'll see that they're the very things that everybody else is talking about now. And right now, you know, I'm talking about the fact that we cannot be distracted by Iraq and Syria only. We need to recognize what's going on in Libya. Libya represents an incredible caliphate for them. It has a lot of oil, and you go north across the water, you're into southern Europe. You go south, you're into Chad and Sudan, Niger.